Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Young, and we are here with Lisaboo and Jim from Rat Silo. So, welcome, guys.
Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
Jim, uh, could you introduce yourself and what you do within Rat Silo?
I'm the singer. I basically started the band and I play guitar, and that's pretty much what I do. We kind of write all the songs kind of collectively from jams, basically. Sometimes there'll be somebody will have some germ of an idea they bring down, but for the most part, it's just kind of a spontaneous mess. And
Cool.
that's how we make the music. I've known two of the guys for a long time. The bass player of the band, Don Binns, I've known him since '86. We were in a band together in the '80s and '90s in Canada called Sons of Freedom. And we actually got a very good review in the New Musical Express, which was unheard of for a Canadian band in those days. They were very kind, but it was, we kind of, what we were doing was kind of different. Basically, I'm guessing you guys know who Grace Jones is and Black Uhuru, people like that.
Yeah.
Well, we were trying to pick up on what Led Zeppelin was doing. And again, at that point, we've already gone through punk and Joy Division, Gang of Four, Public Image, all this kind of stuff, the whole post-punk stuff. But we were doing, basically hard rock, kind of punk rock kind of stuff, but a strong emphasis on like funky, sexy grooves, the way the Led Zeppelin did. So that was the kind of premise for that. And Dawn was in that band. And strangely, the other two guys in the band were also called Dawn, which was, frustrating. You just want, three people. There's only four of us in the band, and three of us have the same name. It's pretty silly. But yeah, that was it. That was good. And then that fell apart. And then I got this band together, Rat Silo. And the original lineup we had of that was in 2007. And Don Binns, the bass player, was in it. Sean Stubbs, the drummer, who's a friend, and Sean's played in lots of different bands. I don't know how many you would have heard of. He was in an industrial band from Vancouver called Numb, and he also drummed for SNFU and Jackalope, which is kind of they are an industrial band from Vancouver. And I also had on guitar an old friend of mine that I've actually been playing with off and on since about '81, a guy called Finn Manicky on guitar. And he's a stunning guitar player. And also we had Dave Osborne, and his brother is Neil Osborne, who's the singer for 5440. And Dave Osborne has kind of basically become a full-time member of 5440 now. I don't know if you've heard of 5440, but they're quite big in Canada.
Yeah.
They were kind of like an alternative thing. But, now, just because they've been at it so long and it's so late now, they're considered classic rock, which is always weird. It's like, well, it's not Journey, or Deep Purple, you know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, so that was that. That went on for a while, and then that kind of morphed. We did 3 CDs, and then that morphed into another thing, and then that fell apart. And then the old band, Sons of Freedom, got together for a reunion gig and carried on for about another year and a half after that. And then that fell apart. And so I decided, okay, well, I'm going to try and get a completely different project, completely different kind of music. I had written some songs. Oh, I guess we became small. Oh, okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
So we got this version together, and basically this combination for this version of Rat Silo has been this way since 2016. And Sean's on drums, Don Binns is on bass, and we got this guy Erkan Genco, and he started off on the Dumbek. He's Turkish, but then he started to play around with Ableton DJ software, if you know what that is. It's like a lot of the samples and stuff, and because he doesn't really have very much like musical training as far as theory and chords and melodies and stuff like that, he just goes by ear. So he's completely uninhibited, and the stuff that he brings in, a lot of times it's like right off the wall. It's just like, I think there was maybe about 1 or 2 times where we've gone like, okay, we got this, the song's basically working. We need something to go in here, and he'll bring something. It's like, not so much. No, can we get something else? And then, you know, he comes up with something else. It's brilliant. But for the most part, it's always right on the money. And it's always things that, you know, very unlikely that the rest of us would have even thought about bringing that kind of texture in it. You know, we're a unique sounding band. You know, I'm not a great singer. I don't particularly want to be a very good singer. And I have a very heavy-handed, nasty way of playing guitars. Sean is, you know, a hard-hitting, old-school punk rock, hard rock drummer. And Don Binns, the bass player, he's, well, I'm sure you know Ell, who Jean-Jacques Bonnel is, the bass player for the Stranglers. Anyway,
yeah.
Don plays a little bit like that, but I don't think that in his early days when he started figuring out how to play the bass and wanting to do it, I don't know that he was thinking of Jean-Jacques Bonnel. I think he was probably thinking of Paul Simonon from The Clash. But yeah, it's a different band. It's a funny combination of sounds in this band.
Yeah. So let's dive into some sort of like some questions. As a kid, what were you listening to?
How far back you want to go?
As far back as you want.
Okay. Well, I remember my dad liked music, and he had vinyl, and then he wound up putting a lot of that on a reel-to-reel. But you know, a lot of his stuff I wasn't crazy about. He liked Louis Armstrong a lot, but you know, he was of the age where he was interested in jazz, but he wasn't particularly interested in the jazz that I like. The stuff that I like is from like, well, now I developed since those days, but the sweet spot for me is jazz is like 1955 to 1965, when you got like Thelonious Monk, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, people like that with quartets, trios, quintets, and they're all stunning players, and there's quite a lot of interplay. I find that stuff very exciting. I think John Coltrane's "A Love Supreme" is pretty much the best piece of music ever made. I love that so much. So anyway, back in the day, I would be listening mostly to my dad's stuff until I got to the point where I could actually have my own record player. But you know, quite a bit of it was pretty good. They had the one famous Ravi Shankar thing that he did in San Francisco. I think it was one of the first times that anyone from India playing in music from India was playing to a large audience. It was a massive crossover, and it was a really, I think it's called Ravi Shankar Live or something like that. That was a big deal. And he also had another fun one, which was, I think it's just called Ella in Berlin, Ella Fitzgerald. I don't know if you've heard that, but it's the one where she does Mac the Knife, and she can't remember the words, and she starts improvising. It's really fun. Trying to think what else they have. A few things like that. And then later on, you know, finally when I'm 11, I guess I got my record player, and I've been farmed off to a boarding school. So there was lots of guys older than me in close proximity that had all kinds of record collections. And in those days, I'm talking like, you know, 1971, it was Led Zeppelin. And, you know, we also got into Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. I remember having a couple of Uriah Heep records, but I don't even remember what they were like. But some guys were getting into like Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Yes and stuff like that. And I didn't really like that very much. To me, it was all Led Zeppelin, but it was my earliest strong memory of like when I put down a piece of music. Are we allowed to swear on this thing? Does it matter?
Yeah.
It's okay to swear. Okay. So I get my first record player. My parents got it, and I get my uncle in Canada. I visited him, I think, the year before, a special little holiday, and I knew Led Zeppelin 2, but he had Led Zeppelin 1, which I wasn't familiar with. So I'm listening to that. It's like, well, that's pretty awesome. He's got a good stereo, and you know, he's quite happy to play it loud. So you know, that was pretty cool. Anyway, bottom line is Christmas morning, I get a record player, like awesome, and I don't know if you. Do you still have? I think they're called Top of the Pops or something like that. There was like a band in Britain in the 70s, just like a studio band. And you would buy this LP, and there'd be like 10 songs on it. So it would look like a really good deal. It'd be like, you know, £1.50, where a single was, you know, 50 pence or something like that in those days. So it would look like a good deal. But then you listen to it, it's like, that's not them, right? It's a studio band just covering all these things. Anyway, I think my parents thought it was a good idea to give me about 4 of them, because it's like, here's a whole bunch of music the kid will like. But the one thing that they did give me, was some kind of Kinks greatest hits, and that was pretty awesome because you know, it had like Victoria, Waterloo Sunset, Dedicated Follower of Fashion. Like, I think it was mostly all of the singles, you know, like 10 songs, and you know, what a great band that was. But the key thing was my uncle sent me Led Zeppelin 4 and I didn't even know about it. So I put this thing on the record player and all of a sudden it's like, hey, mom, say the way. And it just fucking blows my head off. I hadn't heard anything. I mean, nobody had heard anything like that then. You know, how many times have I listened to it since? So obviously, you know, you get sick of this stuff. I don't need to hear Stairway to Heaven again in my life. But a couple of their songs, like they're so, you know, using the word unique is a little bit pointless with Led Zeppelin, but you know, they really stuck their necks out with songs like Kashmir and When the Levee Breaks, for my money. You know, like kind of like what the Beatles did with some of their stuff, like Tomorrow Never Knows, songs like that, where it's just, you know, everyone's got something to hide except for me and my monkey. You get these things, it's like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, how do you guys think that? And then, you know, like, you know, okay, I love the White Album. Most musicians who've been listening to the Beatles for, you know, decades will probably say, a huge amount of them will say the White Album is their favorite and it's the best. But I only recently, in about the last 5 or 10 years, kind of tuned into that song Helter Skelter. And I listen to that now and it's like, whenever it was done, like 67, something like that, 68, I listen to it now, just hearing the way that they were trying to play it, especially the bass and the way that McCartney's singing. It really is. It's like a precursor to punk rock. You know, it's not the Stooges. You know, I love the Stooges Funhouse. Love that record endlessly. But Helter Skelter, it's got this really vicious, desperate edge to it. And I was shocked when I looked at the credits. You know, I was doing some kind of Wikipedia thing, like, who wrote that song again? Oh, that's it. Oh, John Lennon. Oh, okay, because, you know, you get some of the weird songs. It's like you expect all the weird shit to be John Lennon. Helter Skelter was written by Paul McCartney, which is like, you know, I got no, you know, I don't know if you're probably too young, but I remember the song Mull of Kintyre.
Yeah, I remember it.
Right? Oh, couldn't hear that anymore. Like, it was #1 on the charts for 16 weeks or something insane. It went on and on and on. Joe Public couldn't get enough of it. So I'm like, Paul McCartney's an asshole, hate his songs. And then I find out he wrote Helter Skelter. It's like, whoa. Okay. Because to me, it's absolutely brilliant song. Yeah. So yeah. And then I started to get more records and buy secondhand records and, you know, learned how to play acoustic guitar, you know, because I wanted to play electric, got some lessons. And, you know, started playing in bands by the time I was about 17, 18, pretty typical, you know, for somebody from Britain who's interested in music. You know, you're terrible for quite a long time, but you know, that's showbiz, right?
Yeah. So was obviously your dad was like sort of like a big influence on like getting you into sort of like listening to music. Was there anybody else who was like sort of like influence on you? Was it a friend?
Like in my family or stuff? Well, all my friends.
Yeah.
Well, we were all, you know, well, I'm sure it's the same. You wind up gravitating the kind of music that your friends like, or you choose your friends based on the kind of music that you like. But you know, my one friend in particular, Simon, he's in England. I meet him every time I go back there. But we were crazy about Led Zeppelin, but he also had a strong taste for some stuff that now I realize that I was not paying enough attention to, particularly T-Rex. I only really started listening heavily to Electric Warrior and the Slider. I'm going to say I was probably like 23, something like that. I don't think I actually owned a T-Rex. Actually, no, I had a weird one. It was one of the ones that they did before Hot Love and stuff like that, like the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I had one of those things, I think. But yeah, stunning band. But yeah, all of our friends, you know, you have your little posse, right? I'm sure kids do exactly the same thing now. You have a common interest of something and you wind up making friends with that person. But Simon was, you know, in retrospect, much cooler. He's like, you know, hey man, the New York Dolls, and everyone else is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Look, they're all wearing women's shoes. What the hell is this? But he knew what it was about, right? So that was kind of cool. Yeah, most of just your friends, really. And again, because I was at this boarding school, it was very easy to have lots of different music, you know, just like I think almost everybody I know, you always hear these stories like, how'd you find out about the blues? Well, my older brother had a whole bunch of blues records, and then he moved out and I inherited them, and that's when I got onto them or whatever. It's, you know, it's super common. But, you know, buying music in those days was really, really expensive, especially seeing as now, literally, you cannot give it away. But, you know, I remember holding down crummy jobs once I left home, and on a whim, I would go to the record store and I'd be like, well, this looks interesting, and I would buy it. But, you know, it would be, I don't know, £3 or £4, something like that. But that was like a day's pay was £5 when you had a lousy job, you know. So it's like big sacrifice. But, you know, the very first Cure record in England, the pressing of it, it had, I think it's called Three Imaginary Boys. There's a picture of a fridge and a chair and a lampstand or something on the front. And then on the back, instead of the names of the songs, they've got these little icons. And it's not until you listen to the thing, it's just like, oh, okay, the fourth song, yeah. Like, oh, okay, because it's called, I don't know, something about 12 o'clock or something like that. So they got a little picture of a clock. You know, it's kind of smarty pants. But very glad that I bought that, you know, because that's a great record. But you would wind up taking, you know, pretty serious hits. You'd buy some record that looked interesting, you'd take it home, and you didn't like it. And what the hell are you going to do with it? You can't sell it. You know, people weren't really selling much vinyl in those days. And then eventually it was like, oh, there's cassette players now, and you can get your buddy, you give him a cassette, and he'll copy the album for you. But like really, that didn't really get started from what I remember, you know, in a big way till about maybe 79, 81, something like that. Yeah. And Sean's told me stories when he was a kid. He's a bit younger than me. They would go downtown to Vancouver to the Groovy record store, and they would each put in, you know, $5 or whatever, and they would go and they would get the new Clash record or something like this. You know, they're like 12 or 15 or something like that. You know, and they'd each put $5 in it, and one guy would go home, and they've all got their little cassettes, and he would go there and he would dub the record over 5 times for everybody, because, you know, it's like $20. You know, that was like 5 hours pay for minimum wage in those days, right? So it's tough. It's tough being a music fan in the old days, right? A lot of sacrifices, a lot of mistakes. And even when you got a record you don't like, it's like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep listening to this goddamn thing. There's got to be something. Whereas now, it's, you know, you can get anything you want. Like, I wound up signing up for Spotify. I don't like it, but it is the way of the future, and you just have to get used to it. But for instance, I'm a bit of a music snob with stuff. So I'm like, okay, Spotify, what do you got for Charles Mingus? And I couldn't fucking believe it. They had something like 68 Charles Mingus albums. Like, you can, like all of the regular ones that you might expect. And I'm only familiar with about 4 of them, but it was just, it's endless. Like, every single thing you could possibly think of is on Spotify, which is, you know, it's outrageous. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's Spotify can it's great if you're sort of like a music fan, but not so great if you're a musician. If you know what I mean.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. And the funny thing is, just like with YouTube, you know, you'll go there because before Spotify was happening, there was people were having, and we used to do it. You basically have a YouTube party, YouTube dance party. Like, you just put up with the ads, blah, blah, blah. But you go there sometimes and it's like, Lady Gaga, whoa, 750 million plays of this song by Lady Gaga on YouTube. I mean, she gets a fraction, right? But still, it's a hell of a lot of money. And there's a hell of a lot of people who are enjoying it, right? It's a lot. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. So who, out of all the bands that you've listened to over the decades, who actually inspired you to say, right, I want to pick up the guitar and I want to sing? Who actually inspired you?
Well, I didn't want to sing. I wound up singing because nobody else would do it. So that was kind of a second thought. I would say probably Led Zeppelin. was probably the biggest one. I was around in England for punk, and I liked all that. I used to worship television, but I mean, by that point, I'd already been playing guitar for 4 or 5 years, and I'd done a few gigs, but really, you know, nothing worth thinking about. I would say just most of it, you know. Most of what I was listening to made me want to try and do it. You know, I don't know that in particular there was anything, but I mean, you know, in retrospect, you can't go wrong with Jimmy Page, right? And then All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix, I always thought that was absolutely brilliant. It's probably the best cover that anyone's ever done in my eye. But I would say most of the stuff, you know, it wasn't like I remember particularly, oh, I want to do that. But I mean, also at school, there was guys older than you know, who had an electric guitar and you didn't know anything about it. But it's just like, that's what this band's using. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. That's what they look like. Okay. You know, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, we've got a sort of like a comment from Jason Carew. Jim, this is Jesus calling.
Oh, that. Yeah, that's a lyric from the old band, Sons of Freedom. There's a song called Jesus and Jim. Yeah. I was well, I'm super opinionated about spirituality and God. I don't know if this is the right place to get into it, but you know, I like playing with that idea of you know, talking about God, the idea of God. But at the same time, you know, who the hell was it? XTC, remember that song, Dear God? Yeah. Good stuff, right? And Sarah McLachlan, who's a big, if you don't know who she is, she's kind of semi-retired now, but she was a massive, well, kind of pop, indie rock female singer, Sarah McLachlan, did very, very well, and she covered it, and her version is really good too. But yeah, I like picking on God.
That's a good thing.
Easy target, I guess.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of the bands earlier on. Was there any other bands that you were in before you started Rat Silo?
Yeah, Sons of Freedom. That was in the 80s. Yeah. That was the band that I was in with Don Binns and the other two guys called Don. Yeah. Before that, there was another little band called Red Rum. We did maybe about 20 gigs, and that was when I played with Finn Maneke, who was the first guitar player in Rat Silo. But really, the first band I was in that you know, made music to be released, like made records, that was Sons of Freedom. And that record, we were started in 86 and the first record came out in 88. And you know, it's a good record. It's kind of iconic.
Yeah, cool. Usually, Lisa normally asks this. Normally asks this question. What is your favorite song to play, whether it be your own song or like sort of like a cover song?
I'm not interested in playing covers at all. I'd rather wash dishes. I could not be in a cover band. The one thing, I don't have the capacity to sit down and learn a whole bunch of songs. You know, we always thought that it was easier to write a song than to learn how to play another one, which honestly is kind of not true, because you could think that when you first start playing, it's like, here's the song, gung, gung, gling, 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 gling. Like, it's a crap idea. Everything about it is crap. Yes, it is easy to do that, to sit down there and try and play along with the record, but it's garbage. But, you know, when you have tried to make things into songs, you know, the first 600 are awful, but after that, you know, they start to get better. Yeah, I pretty much only ever play music that I've been involved with. But I have sung covers. In Sons of Freedom, we covered Fun Times by Iggy from Iggy's first solo record, The Idiot. It's on that. We kind of sped it up a bit. And then We also did Rockaway Beach by the Ramones. And on the first Rat Silo record, we covered the Ramones' I Don't Care, which is a really nice song from their third album. But we brought the tempo down. I think the regular, it's not that fast a song, maybe about 110 beats a minute, but we brought it down to about 80. So it's a real sluggy, druggy, sloppy, you know, impressionistic mess. Dirge, I guess, is really the most efficient way to say it. It's more like a dirge.
Yeah, what is your sort of like favorite song to play of your own?
Well, there's a few that I like. It's a funny thing that I've noticed about myself. Like I wouldn't say that I'm a stereotypical musician at all, because I consider myself more like an artist than a musician. So a lot of times I'll get into a little bit of a pissing match with musicians that I'm working with, because they'll be like, oh, I want to do this because it's interesting. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about how interesting it is to play. That's not the point. Think about the listener. We want to turn their crank. We have to do what makes sense for their ears. We're doing this for them. We're doing it for ourselves. We want to make something that's awesome. But if we keep following the whole thing of like, oh, this is interesting, as far as I can tell, you start to move into the world of prog rock. And frankly, I fucking hate prog rock. I just hate all these, you know, I think some people call the new stuff, they call it math rock. Lots of time signatures, very, very fancy pants. It's like, dude, just give me a fucking Joy Division song. Give me a good Gang of Four song, a good Public Image song. Most of those kind of songs, they've got two ideas in them. That's it, right? And they're not particularly hard to play, but they thought about how they wanted it to be, right? They've created an emotional space, which to me is what the whole point of making music is. The big one for any art, I think, is I don't like showing off. You know, technique. I'm not into, you know, I'm a pretty big fan of visual art. I'm not interested in people who can make, you know, a beautiful pastel likeness drawing and you know, it sells for a lot. Like, I like German expressionism. You know, I like Egon Schiele. I'm guessing you guys know, but it will, even for the sake of argument, most people know who the hell Picasso is. But you know, I like Picasso very much. And I kind of, to me, that's kind of like what art should be. It's you're trying to do something where you get an idea into someone's head that they wouldn't have thought of before, that they haven't seen before or heard before. Try to tap in, at least musically anyway, try and suck people along into some kind of a story, and you know, bring that about. I can gush about another band, Swans. You guys know Swans from America? They're a punk rock band basically in the early 80s. In about the last 15, 20 years, they've gone quite a bit different. He's changed lots of band members, Michael Giroux is. But there's something very exciting about what they do live. They're an extremely loud band, and it's basically, it's like drums, one guy on keyboards, there's a guy who plays a couple of lap steels, but when you're looking at it, it's like, are they lap steels or is it two, you know, SG guitars that's nailed to a table? It doesn't matter. And then a bass player and a guitar player is fucking loud, and Gira sings and plays guitar. But what happens is they'll kind of set up some kind of like droning or all this kind of stuff, and it's screaming loud. It's kind of mesmerizing. It's got a pulse. They're going along, and maybe he starts singing, maybe he doesn't. Maybe there's a tangent that goes over here. It does something, and then you kind of get hypnotized, and then you're kind of bored. You're kind of lost. And then you kind of like sober up again. You kind of refocus to what's going on. Like, oh, we're back here now. Wow, that was weird. Where was I? You know, you are daydreaming inside the live performance of what's going on. Anyway, the most amazing time was, because it was, I guess, the biggest impact. I'm going to say about 2008 they came through. And I was just spellbound. When I was probably because I was experienced enough and receptive enough at that point in my life, but I came away from it. I was like, that was the best musical performance I've ever seen in my life. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I tell people, like, really, you should go and see what this is like. But another time, it might have been the third time they came through recently. It might have been the last time or the time before. Bottom line is, I'm there and I'm watching them play, and I'm like, yes, they have been on stage 50 minutes. I'm pretty sure this is the third song. It's intense. It's really something else. And that's what I like about you know, art and music.
Yeah.
So that's a very long-winded way of saying, yes, I'd rather play my own music. But as far as individual songs, I like the ones that I can throw as much emotion that I can into it, that I think has got a good impact. We, until further notice anyway, we're always going to close with this one song called Get High and Quit. And that was on the first record that we did with this version of Rat Silo. So I guess that's technically our fourth CD. Basic guts of the song was written by the bass player, the kind of way the chords work. And he's very much into playing what's called double stops on the bass, where you play like 2 or 3 notes at a time. So it's like boom, bling, you know, he's not really making it go bling, but there are multiple notes. So he's bringing out chords. So in a lot of ways, he's actually playing the bass. He's trying to play the guitar on the bass, basically. He can play the bass just fine, right? Nothing wrong with that, but he's picked up on this other style. And that's a good one. It's a nice piece of juicy melodrama to climb inside, and it's a miserable premise, you know, trying to point out that it's, you know, you've got to watch out for denial with things like drugs, because it'll get the better of you. So that's a good one. There's a few.
Yeah, cool. So what has Rat Silo been up to, especially over this last, say 6 months to 6 to 12 months?
Yeah. Well, we finally finished off the last record. It was we went into the studio, I'm going to say December 2022, and we worked very, very quickly in the studio because of this Ableton stuff. How it works is we decide on what the tempo of the song should be. So basically, the Ableton is setting a click to the drummer, and the drummer's playing along with us. And so we don't, once we decided the tempo of the song tempo cannot change. We have to play in time because the computer is basically telling us what to do. And it has to be that way. Otherwise, you know, it sounds like crap. So we have to be tight. So we have some kind of stuff, multi-track stuff at our rehearsal space, so we can put like about 8 tracks down, vocals, guitars, bass, drums, take it away and mix it. So basically, by the time we go into the studio, we've got a really good idea of exactly what it is that we're going to do. We may experiment a little bit, but for the most part, it's like, get on with it. So basically, each time we've been in recently, it's literally 3 days. We load in Friday night, do all the tracking on the Saturday, which is all the beds and all the sampling stuff he's got on his computer. He's changing it as it goes down. That's all done. The next day is typically vocals and overdub guitar and any other kind of background stuff, and that's it. That's the whole record done in 2 days. It would be nice to spend, you know, another week, but I don't know that it would be 5 times better after spending 5 times the money. So anyway, tragically, right before we went into the studio, Don Binns, the bass player, cut his finger open badly and almost severed a tendon. I think it was on his left hand. So he couldn't play. So we had to put those beds down and without him, and then go back in the studio. And we had to wait, I think, about 6 months for him to be able to go back in and put his parts down, which is it's not our choice. We always like to put everything down because we're listening to each other, you know. So he's listening to the drums and vice versa. So that was that. And then we went back in. No, I guess that was the last time we went in. Yeah, then we mixed it in the fall, and it came out. Well, this stuff is. Well, we got the one single came out about a week ago. The 3rd single with Sode. That's what we're doing with them. There's 9 songs on this collection called Id. It will be coming out on CD at a certain point, but in the kind of medium term, we're just putting out a single every 6 weeks. So the one that we just did is the 3rd single, and we'll walk home alone.
Cool.
And we're getting ready to go back in again. We've got, I think, about 6 songs bubbling under, and we're scheduled to go in to the studio in December. And I don't know how many songs we'll get done, but you know, I'm a big fan of setting goals, you know, and trying to achieve things and getting stuff done. Deadlines.
Yeah,
it helps.
Cool. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I was going to ask if you were writing any new material.
Yeah.
Right? So, Yeah.
Yeah, we're constantly writing new material. Yeah. And the funny thing with us is this has always worked. Typically, you know, you get nice and high, or at least get a bit of a buzz on, goof around, and you tape it. And back in the old days with Sons of Freedom, even before that, we would just like, we'd have a crummy little cassette player, just record, and then sure enough, you'd have to start dubbing it across and stuff. But, you know, typically you've got 3 hours of music. Maybe there's like 15 minutes out of that it's actually worth listening to. But sometimes in a jam, there'll be just something, this guy stops, this guy goes to the wrong note, the drummer does something here. It's like that right there, that 8 seconds, that's the keeper. Get that, fix that, flush it out, figure out a way for the context for that to sound awesome there. And then when we've done that, something so that it's so awesome that it makes something else happen. So that's kind of how we work. There's we spend a lot of time arranging and experimenting, but it's perpetual. And you know, the one song I was talking about, Get High and Quit, I think Don Binns showed us that riff at some point, and we goofed around on it, and nothing much seemed to happen. I couldn't get much going, couldn't get any traction, and finally it all fell in place. But I think we were kicking around on that for about 1.5 years until we played it live. Because in my experience, what has happened, you know, is you'll have a song idea that you like, and it's like you just like force it, and it's like, well, there, now the bastard is done, and then you get away from it, and it's like there's no music left in this. This is just a technical exercise of crap, you know. What seems to work for us is just have a lot of stuff on the back burner. You know, typically there could be 30 or 40 ideas, but out of those 30 or 40 ideas, only 4 of them are going to see the light of day. But you know, we track everything, and we've got all these things. You know, I'd hazard a guess with some of them, we've jammed on them for maybe 10 or 20 times until we actually decide, like, yes, this is the way it's going to be. This is the finished version. And sometimes we'll hit them maybe 2 or 3 times, and then we're just like, I don't think it's distinct enough. You know, it's not very good. We haven't come up with any other good ideas to sit on it. But you know, never say never. You got these crummy recordings. It's just taking up space on the computer. It didn't cost us anything. You know, that's the great part now. Whereas with the old band, I got milk crates. What we call them milk crates, because we buy, people deliver plastic boxes like this full of C90s. So it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of music. Who cares?
We got a question from Jason Carew. He asks, any plans to come east of the Rockies, Jim? Ontario, more specifically, London area?
London, well, the old band played London a few times. I don't know if that bar is still there, called The Office. It's basically a house. They managed to turn it into a bar nightclub. No, we have... I would love to do it, but it just costs so much fucking money. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars a day. It's something like $500 or $1,000 a day for a band to move around in the band. And we're not talking about, you know, spending any time in nice hotels and getting nice meals and shit. It just fucking costs so much. And then even flying out there to do that kind of thing, that's really tricky. We would like to, but as it is, we're still playing, you know, mostly very small venues in Vancouver. We've done one out-of-town gig in Seashelt, which is this little rural town kind of up the coastline from where we live. But that's it. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. The venue. Jason said that the venue's closed.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, it was around for a long time. I think maybe 20 years. It's a goofy place. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask about if everything was sort of like aligned and everything with financial backing, would you to sort of like do a tour of Canada or go down in the US?
Well, the US is very, very difficult for a Canadian band. It didn't used to be this way. You used to be able to go to the musicians union. You've got this, I don't know, H5 form or something, and you pay the deposit. Now it's incredibly hostile. It costs a lot of money to even apply to do it. I think it would be way, way easier to go and get gigs in Europe and the States for us. But American bands have no trouble getting into Canada at all. They can do whatever they want. So it's a bit unfair that way. So yeah, but Canada for sure. It was a big point of contention with the old band because, you know, we were like, look at the fucking music that's going over well in Britain. Like, get us to England and get us to open for the Alarm or something like that. You know, a band with a big general appeal that would fucking clean up, especially Germany and England. We figured at the time, it's like, we've got to get there, and we couldn't get there. There was no way to do it because it was just too expensive. And you know, there was nothing in place in those days, whereas now there's quite a lot. You know, Arcade Fire, you probably heard of them, right? Arcade Fire, Canadian band. You know, they've had help, and they were playing big places, and they had help from the Canadian government. It's worth their while to be giving out, you know, a large sums of money to try and help a Canadian band that's, you know, playing to like 400 people a night in Canada, 800 to get to Europe to 400. Maybe, you know, the next time they go back, they'll be playing to 4,000 people. It can really make a massive difference. But we really, really wanted to go there, and we really, really couldn't. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah. Jason said, I saw you at the embassy with Econline Crush.
Oh, the Econline Crush. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Yeah, that was the Econline Crush. Yeah, and also a band from Montreal called Grimskunk. Yeah, Econline Crush were one of the first kind of poppy industrial bands in Vancouver. That would have been like about, I think, 95. We kind of got back together. We basically, this is the old band, Sons of Freedom. We did like a hits package thing of all the demos that had never been released before. We went on the road for that. That was a good tour. Yeah. I always forget what the hell the name of that bar was. The Embassy. Yeah. Okay. Another bar.
Yeah. He also says that the private embassy is closed as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sure.
So I know there's a couple of people in the chat who would love to know. Is there any sort of like plans on putting Rat Silo on sort of like vinyl?
I'm not keen on vinyl, to be honest. A lot of the and this is purely technical. Vinyl's awesome, but what's awesome about vinyl is all the old vinyl we think of, where it's the old Beatles, the Stones, you know, all Led Zeppelin, all that kind of stuff, until we started to go digital. Because back in the day when CDs first came out, they may still have to have it, but you would look at it and it would say AAD. And what that means is the recording in the recording studio was recorded in analog. So it went onto an analog tape. Then it was mixed onto an analog tape. And then in those days, they would have taken the stereo mix that they had, and they would have taken that to the lacquer master, and he would have mastered it to the vinyl. They make the stamp, and then they make a record. So all of the processes are completely analog. Once CD came out, they took those the mixes, the 2 tracks of the reel-to-reel, and then they made a digital master from that. So now all the information is digital, and they use that to make a CD. What a lot of people do now is they record everything digitally because it's much cheaper. And it's very, very difficult to find anyone that can operate properly a 24-track 2-inch machine. They're rare, they're expensive. The tape is expensive. I think it's maybe like about $200 or $400 a song to get that tape. And then, you know, you wind up with a stack after you've been in the studio for a few weeks. You got a stack of these boxes this high with all the music on it. So there's something else to trip over for the rest of your life. But, you know, that's how you get that juicy sound. And a huge amount of it really is what's called tape saturation. When you record on tape, everyone was always just pushing the envelope a little bit more, just a little bit past, because there's like overtones and juiciness and warmth that you get on analog tape when that happens. You don't get that with digital. You may be getting better quality, but also the kind of juiciness and the fun part of the recording, you know, the kind of sweetness of it, you're going to get that from tape. Now there are all kinds of digital things, all these plugins and all this crap, and everybody uses all that kind of stuff, but still, it's digital. It is digital. And so what happens now is lots of people, they'll record everything digitally in Pro Tools or whatever, then they mix it digitally. It's mastered digitally. Essentially, they put it on a CD, and then they take the CD over to the guy to put it on vinyl. To me, it's completely pointless. Absolutely pointless. I cannot believe there's really any point in taking a CD and putting it on vinyl. It's like you've already lost it. All of the stuff that was good about it being analog, you never had it at the beginning. However, what we do in the studio is a kind of a halfway cheat. You know much about the way studio equipment works, like tape recorders and shit like that?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, there's probably people watching that don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But back in the day, everything was done on a what's called a multi-track tape, 2-inch tape like this, and they were designed for 16, but you could get 24 different instruments on the tape. Now this tape zips along, and when it goes along on its flat reel-to-reel, it's zipping along and it's recording your music, and we're so happy. But there's a record head like this, so all 24 tracks can go down at once or just one, just put the vocals on that one, whatever. But there's a record head, but right afterwards, about this far away, there's a read head. I don't know what that was for, because we can't actually listen to the read head when it goes by because it's late. It's about 3 or 4 inches away, so 30 inches a second. What is that? It's late by, I guess, I don't know, 0.1 of a second, something like that. But what we do is we record onto that tape, the band, because we can, like I was talking before about tape saturation, we can just crank that a little bit so we get all the sweetness. Plus, we're going through, recently anyway, we've been going through what's called an SSL board. It's an automated, servo-controlled, monster, beautiful thing, but it's analog. So we're completely analog. The very last thing that happens is, after we've got this groovy tape-saturated sound, on the read head of the tape recorder, that's what goes into the computers. So essentially, we're dealing with 100% analog sounds that are converted using a tape recorder instead of putting a mic and relying directly just on whatever the analog digital converter we have. So people, a lot of times, they'll use all kinds of limiters and compressors and EQs and all that stuff, trying to emulate what they want, but we're getting it. And, we're good players, we've got good gear. We always make a point of going to a good studio with very, very good engineers. We work with Dave Ogilvy for several of these things, and Dave Ogilvy, I've been working with him off and on since, I think it was 87, something like that. And he has tons of experience. Have you heard of Skinny Puppy, a Canadian industrial band? Very big. Anyway, yeah. He was kind of like a fifth member of that, or fourth member of that band, but he's done a lot of stuff. He had his own band, Jackalope, and he's done a lot of remixes. He's done remixes for Queen, Bowie. He's worked with a lot of people, Marilyn Manson, just trying to think of all the different people, 9 Inch Nails, lots of people. These guys know what they're doing. It's awesome to have guys that make you sound good. You get a decent idea for something and you hear it back in the studio and you're like, motherfucker, I didn't think it was going to come out like that. But it can be a real positive thing, get back into the studio, because they got like massive speakers, right? So you don't want to listen to music all the time like that, but when you want to flatter yourself, it's like, put them on the big boys, everybody stand back, because it's extremely exciting, to put it bluntly. It's very gratifying. Yeah. You trick yourself to think you're a genius, right?
Yeah. So, where can people find you on social media?
Sorry, what?
Where can people find you on social media?
We're everywhere. We're Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. We have our own website. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. You name it. Like, no stone unturned. You just do a Google search for Rat Silo. Even if you spell it wrong, I think you'll find something.
Cool. Yeah. So, where can
we're on YouTube?
Yeah. Cool. So, Tom, going back to the sort of like merchandise sort of thing, is there sort of like any new t-shirt designs or sort of like that sort of like merchandise for people to buy, or your own?
We've just recently come up with 2 t-shirts, and they will be getting up on Bandcamp. I don't really know how else to do it. We haven't figured out how much they're going to cost to ship, blah blah blah. But they will be out there. We just haven't really done much about it. The CDs, like all of them, are up on Bandcamp. We used to go through CD Baby. I'm not sure if we're still with them. I forget. Honestly, I don't really pay much attention to this stuff, but it's out there.
Yeah, cool. So this is probably going to be our sort of like last question. It looks like one of our subscribers, the brilliant Marcella Calea, by the sounds of it, she just subscribed to your YouTube channel, I believe.
Oh yeah, cool.
So, yeah. So, she also says, I love the red swirling picture next to that beautiful guitar. So the one on on your right.
Yeah. This one?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah. During COVID, I basically made kind of like I thought them as being kind of like stamps or tarot cards. I made little drawings like this, paintings for each song because I had lots of spare time. So I just thought I'd put that stuff up. But I do all the artwork, and with these singles, I make custom little pictures so that the picture is on it when you go to Spotify. So I do the cover art. We've had other people do it before, but it's just easier if I do it. Sean straightens it out. I just come up with the artwork. He has to like glue it, line it, blah blah blah. Thank God.
Yeah. By the sounds of it, Marcella's just might have come up with a good idea. That picture could be a cool T-shirt.
Well, the other one actually is a T-shirt. I just have to find it.
All right.
Anyway, this is one of the things we had. So this is one of the shirts that we're going to be selling.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
I Sacrifice. And the idea was each song had a kind of like a tagline, like a movie thing. So I Sacrifice, A Veteran's Lament. And this one is for the same record, the first one that we did with Aircan. The Dance of the Dead, An Invitation. So they've all got this kind of thing. And then on the back of our shirts, what we do is we've got this goofy kind of spiral thing. And that's what's on the last CD that we put out. The actual cool. Itself. And the other one is it's basically the first record. What's going tomorrow? The cover is that. So this one's white, similar kind of thing, with the similar kind of thing at the back. All that stuff. We have to get it online. Stuff, but these things take time.
Yeah.
They will be up.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so this is probably going to be sort of like our last question. Any advice for people who want to become a musician?
Oh, well, the old joke, I'm sure they've said it in England, but they've said it in Canada. What's the best way to make $1 million in the music industry? Start off with $2 million, right? You're gonna lose all your money. You're gonna lose a lot of time, but to me, it's very gratifying. You know, it's a good idea to become a good musician. You know, that's a good thing to do, but I don't know that that's necessarily the most important thing. Um, I get a lot of satisfaction out of basically finishing a song, you know, hoping this thing to be done where you can all say like, we have finished it, and then maybe you've got to record it and you've got a really good version of it. But it's a really nice feeling when you've got this piece of music that you worked on. It starts here, it goes to there. Some parts are a little bit not so interesting, but this happens here and everything's paced well and everything's groovy and you know what you're doing because you've been doing it well. You've crafted it well, and the performance is good. I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. Now, as far as advising other people, becoming a musician and becoming decent in your instrument, whether you're a singer, guitar player, drummer, whatever, it's sometimes extremely frustrating because when you first start, you know, maybe you're getting lessons, maybe you're picking something up, maybe you've gone to YouTube. It seems like, wow, I learned how to do this. Yeah. Oh, I'm making progress. But then maybe at a certain point, like about 6 months or a year and a half in, it seems like I haven't gotten any better forever. I'm still shitty. Oh my God. And that will eventually go away because the way it seems to me is for the first part, you're completely focused on what you get right. And then you get fairly competent, and then for a long time, the only thing that you can hear is what you're getting wrong. You're not noticing the fact that 97% of the time you're keeping pretty good time. You're singing properly, blah 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 blah. But you've got that problem though, and you get this bit over here, blah blah. It takes a long time before you've kind of got that running capacity where you're always firing on all eight cylinders. And you know, I don't know how many people we know, like kids who were forced to take piano and violin when they were 3 or 4, and they just give it up as soon as they can. They hate it. All this like practicing scales. They're not having any fun. Like, I recently read that the Rick Rubin book. About being an artist, right? It's stunning, absolutely stunning. He talks constantly about how important it is to play. Doesn't matter where you are, what it is that you're doing. If you're a sculptor, artist, musician, ballet dancer, like you have to be able to have fun. You have to let your creative spirit be crazy, and then you can riff on it and you can do all this stuff. You have to give yourself a license and permission to goof around. That's incredibly important for a musician, and you know, I don't recommend. I think what's been happening a lot about the last 30 odd years, especially at the metal, a lot of guys they'll sit around forever at home, playing along with records, playing along with something, getting lessons on you. Finally, when they're actually a really good guitar player, all of a sudden now they go and start playing with other people. You're 23. You know, you should have been playing. You were halfway decent. You should have been playing in god awful bands. Like, I can turn it in. Horrible. Yes, it's horrible. We're all horrible. We're all horrible together. Yes, that's the whole point. You know, in a lot of ways, I'm still Mr. Punk Rock. You know, the old fanzine was like, here's an A chord, here's a B chord, here's an E chord. Now form a band. Like, how many of those old school punk rock bands do literally? You know, and a lot of them says like ding 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 ding. Like that's it. That's all you get. But you can do an awful lot. But you know, it's very important to like what you're doing. You don't have to think that everything that you're doing is good. You know, it helps. But a lot of stuff, you know, you do, and it's just like I don't really like it. I can see other people like it, but I don't really like it. But you do it anyways, right? And there's always going to be people who are going to tell you you're not good enough, no matter who you are. There's a cute story I always like to say. I think it's Pablo Casals, big time cello player. That's his name, Pablo Casals. Anyway, he's dead, but he was something like 93 at the time. And somebody interviewed him, and they said, "Casals, like, you know, you've been playing the cello for like 85 years, you know, but apparently you still play 4 hours a day. You still practice 4 hours a day. Why do you do that?" Because, well, I think I'm improving, which is insane. You know, I mean, for me as a musician, that's hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I would, you know, I would recommend anyone take up music and specifically try and learn how to improvise, try and play and have fun. Every so often, I've met musicians before who, you know, like stereotypically a vocalist or a piano player, and you would just go like, you know, let's jam, and they're like, I can't do that. Like, I pity them, because we didn't start off with music. We started off yelling at the moon, right? We had music in our world before we had language, right? We were grunting, we were singing at each other, we were trying to get each other's attention. We didn't have words. That was music. It is music, right? So it's in all of us. It's a very useful thing to encourage and embrace and work on. And that's what I like about it. You know, it's each to his own.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Jim. Yeah, just perseverance and sort of like enjoy yourself and sort of like.
Yeah, pretty much. You said it much more succinctly than I did.
Yeah. So Jim, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's been absolute pleasure talking to you.
Cool.
Absolute pleasure. So guys, the description, all the links to that silo are in the description there, and yeah, go check them out. They are absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Jim, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute
Thank
pleasure.
you, sir. All right, be good.
You too. You too.
I'm gonna close the thing.
Down at the bottom of the screen there is Leave Studio.
Exit full screen. Go to Leave Studio. Thank you.
Right, catch you later. Yeah, so thank you to Jim from Rat Silo for coming on. It's been absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much for coming on there, Jim. Yeah, so going into the sort of like the second half of the show. So when Lisa comes back, we sort of like dive into our technically 7 bands this week. We're going to be reviewing 7 bands, and they are Revamp, Hammerfall, which came out yesterday, a new song from Hammerfall, Cypher, Black Lakes, Red Tiger. Oh, you're gonna love Red Tiger. Red Tiger is a brilliant band. A band called Jinjer, and Freeze the Fall. So 7 great bands there. So I didn't get a chance to sort of like do a bit of a grift. So hello, how you doing? Yeah, hope everybody's doing all right. So if you're new here, please subscribe, like, share, comment. It's really helps the channel out if you do that. And hey, welcome back.
Hi.
So
sorry about that.
No worries. No, he's just doing a bit of a grift. So yeah, hit the like, subscribe, like, comment, all the good jazz acid. It's sort of like does help the channel out in a big way. And we've got a lot of plans and a lot of interviews coming up, especially over this next month. So, and for the replay crew, hello, how you doing? Hope everyone's doing all right. If you sort of like want to hear sort of like watch the videos that we've discussed here, all the links are in the description there. And yeah, and if you see at the top of the screen there, you see a pinned comment. It is Ell and Lisaboo's Etsy store, and she's got some amazing stuff over there. So, Lisaboo, could you tell us a little bit about that for those people who don't know what you do?
Sure. It's Budabel X Studio on Etsy. I sell a lot of crystals and stones, raw stones as well as polished. And I have bracelets, pendants, and lots of different jewelry. lots of towers, lots of spheres, lots of different stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Could you give us a couple of minutes there? Just go to go to the little boys' room. So
yeah, that was a great interview. Sorry, I missed the last part. Yeah, Marcella, that was really good. So yeah. As far as gigs go, yeah. There is Nazareth coming up on the 15th of August at River Cree Resort and Casino at Enoch, Alberta. Metallica is playing right away here on the 23rd and the 25th. The 23rd, they're playing with Pantera and Mammoth and Wolfgang Van Halen at Commonwealth Stadium. And then the 25th show of August, Metallica is playing with Ice Nine Kills and Five Finger Death Punch at the Commonwealth Stadium. So yeah, those are going to be really cool shows. Wish I could go to them. So yeah, so many different shows coming up. Bachman Turner Overdrive is going to be on November 29th at Rogers Place. Evanescence, one of my favorite bands, and Hailstorm are going to be on October 20th at Rogers Place in Edmonton. So yeah, some really, really cool bands are coming in the next few months. So yeah, if you're interested in going to see them, yeah, it's great to see you here, Marcella. So yeah, guys, like, share, subscribe, comment. It really helps the channel. So yeah. And I do have a few more gigs for after, because we're one of the bands that we're going to have on here is Jinjer. That's one of my picks. So yeah, they're going to be playing in Las Vegas on October 11th. So yeah, they're going to be playing at the House of Blues Restaurant and Bar at 6:30. That's Jinjer. And we are featuring Jinjer on the show today. So I do have a few other gigs here. And September 21st, they're going to be playing at New York at the Brooklyn Monarch at 2 p.m. And they're going to be playing at the Roxy Theater, Pennsylvania, and McKees Rock, Pennsylvania, at 6:30 on September 22nd. And then they have a couple of Canadian gigs, September 23rd in Toronto, Ontario, at Danforth Music Hall at 6:30. And then they have September 24th, they have a gig in Montreal, Quebec at the MLF Theater at 6 p.m. So yeah, I thought it'd be cool to bring those gigs as we're featuring Jinjer on this live. So
bear with me for once. Yeah, I'm back. Bear with us for 1 second there, Lisaboo. I think it's a problem with my microphone here.
okay.
For some reason, it's sort of like bleeding through from somewhere. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
And then we'll go into the reviews. So bear with us.
Yep. So on September 26th, at the Harrisburg Midtown Arts Center, that's Jinjer, the Jinjer metal band. It's at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at 6:30 p.m. at the Harrisburg Midtown Arts Center. And then September 27th, they also have a show at the Baltimore Soundstage at 6:30. That's in Baltimore, Maryland. So yeah.
I'm back. Hopefully that's just there. Hopefully that's sorted the microphone out.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it started doing it on the interview, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. 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 So anyway, that's got that sorted. So yeah, right. Do you want to get into the reviews?
Yeah, I just see that Marcella asked which song of Rat Silo did you like?
Yeah. Oh, there's a couple of them. There's a couple of them. It's trying to pick one. It's hard to actually try and pick one for to actually say this is a definitively the one I like. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's hard. So I will get back to that one. I'll literally get back to you on that one. So
Or maybe we'll pick one
yeah,
for each of us, and then
yeah,
that might be an idea.
yeah,
Pick our
we'll play,
favorite.
yeah.
Okay, Marcella.
Yeah.
So we'll be back with you.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I could listen to him for quite a while. Well, and then with the interview, sort of like him like getting on for nearly an hour.
Thank you, Marcella.
Yeah, yeah. So get back onto the reviews, and this time picked another Revamp song.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Sure
will
did.
get back to yeah. Yeah, so this is the song I chose, the next three bands I chose. This Revamp song is the title track of the Wildcard album. So, and it's called Wildcard. So, Lisaboo, take it away.
Oh my goodness, what can I say about Flora Jansen's voice? she just seems to get better and better and better and better as time goes on. Super cool graphics of the wild card with Flora on it if you watch the video, and everything is in the description. So super cool that with the basically like a card, right? With Flora on it, with like a two-faced card with a cool costume and the makeup, with her holding a human heart. That I thought that was that was cool. So yeah, it started out with the guitars and the drums and her vocals right out of the gate, just so beautiful. Love the transitions on this and the orchestration on this. I had it cranked up, so I had it really cranked up, so I could hear all the nuances in the song. Guitar solo halfway through was amazing. Then the choir came in after that, which was a great touch. The deep vocals that came in right after the choir by the male vocalist was a great contrast. And Flora's voice, oh, so fantastic. The whole song through, her voice, oh, just such flexibility in her voice. And the lyrics on this song, wow, so intriguing. You'll see the fire, desires, furtive flames. You'll see them lurking in the dark. Ignore the poison. It's a diverting test. I can be sweet behind the facade. And there is mention of the two-faced wild card. So interesting. The lyrics are just amazing. Musically on this song, musically excellent. Vocally excellent. Amazing song. So please go listen to it. She just gets better and better every time. So yeah.
It's I've been following Flora Jansen's career since 2006, and I've listened to like the first recording with After Forever, all the way up to like listening to Nightwish, and she's done like other stuff. She's done After Forever, Revamp, and Nightwish, but she's done other stuff as well with other bands and doing solo stuff and other stuff. And her progression when she basically joined After Forever when she was 16, back in 1997, I believe, when she joined. She's progressed so much. She's grown into her voice so well. She gets better and better and better every time I hear new material from her. So
yeah, fabulous. Fabulous.
Yeah. For me, it's pretty much what you've just said with the wild card. Yeah, brilliant. I love the guitars on this song. Love the drums. Love the bass on this. And what was on a good couple of songs, even with After Forever. There's a couple of songs with After Forever, as well as on the 2 Revamp albums. Well, the growl, the male focus with the growl, sort of like makes it sort of like contrast between angelic Flo's voice, and then with like sort of like demonic growl type thing, sort of like polar opposites, sort of like yin yang type thing. So it's like really cool touch on that. And I love the and he also Flo does like I don't know if you picked up on a sort of like a little bit of operatic just after they finished the growl part of the song.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
It just, oh my goodness, that's why I say she has such a flexibility in her voice, because she can go from this like being lower on the scale, and then all of a sudden she's like up there, and then it's just seamless. It's amazing. She's just got such a beautiful voice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's now you see why I'm sort of like a fan of Flo Johnson. It's because she's got that sort of like range. She can do sort of like the normal, sort of like slightly deeper. Then she can switch it up to doing like sort of like higher pitch operatic.
Yeah.
Getting up to like a higher pitch operatic stuff, and she can go back down to like to normal singing, all within the space of say 10-15 seconds, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, just amazing how she can go from a lower octave to a high, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's amazing.
So what's your, I've got a sneaky suspicion it'll be exactly the same as mine. So what's your rating?
It's a 10. It's a 10. If I could give her like 15, 20 out of 10, I'd do it. Yeah. It's totally amazing.
Yeah, same with me. It's always going to be a 10 for Flo. It's always going to be a 10. So going on to the next song. Now this next band is one of your sort of like one of your favorites, Hammerfall.
Yeah.
And this is actually a new song that was released yesterday, I believe. The video came out yesterday, and the song is called "Avenge the Fallen." So, Lisa, what's your take on this band?
Wow, they're a Swedish band from I think Gothenburg, Sweden. This is their 13th album, so lucky 13.
Yeah.
I I love this band. I love this band
Yeah.
so much. So when you picked them, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Also, I've almost forgot. "Avenge the Fallen" is also the title track of the album as well.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
I
So yeah.
a really cool start. The start of this song. Oh my god, with the horn. That was
Yeah.
amazing. I loved it. Like, oh my goodness, I loved it. I love when they put the horn in on any on anything. So yeah. And then the chant that they did of avenge, avenge. Oh, that was cool. Awesome guitars and drums on this. Guitar solo just about halfway through was, oh my goodness, killer. It was amazing. Guitar licks and riffs throughout, awesome. Strong bass line and drums, amazing. Vocals are awesome. Lyrics are of war and a fight to avenge, hence the name, avenge the fallen. Yeah, oh my goodness, it's vocals are awesome. Lyrics are of war and the fight to avenge the fallen. Nobody wins in this endless war. No one is keeping the score. Whatever it takes, I'll see it through. This band is phenomenal. I've been following them for a while. Definitely on my playlist. This is a new song of theirs, so yes, it's on my playlist now. And the way they work together is amazing. Amazing musicians all the way around this band. So yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I totally love this song. Like you, I loved the intro too with the horn, and then also what I loved is the actual video itself was actually filmed in a live setting, and they actually got the crowd involved.
Yes.
Especially with the chant bit, especially like it wasn't just about with the intro, but it's like going throughout the song. Because every so often they say avenge, avenge, avenge the fallen. It's going throughout the song.
Yeah.
But that's what I liked about the not only with Hammerfall but with the song as well, is because of the band actually got their fans involved, not only in the making of the video, like obviously getting the crowd there in a live setting, but also getting the crowd involved with the song as well. Especially with like when they're chatting Avenge the Fallen. So yeah. Also, the guitars on this is really good for me. I really liked the especially about that. Like I said that halfway through, but that riff, that guitar solo in the middle of the song, I was just like, whoa! Now that is a nice, really nice touch. That. I also loved the drummer as well on this. So yeah, I love the bass line on that as well because with like the bass and the drums, it was sort of worked really well with it. So yeah, same with the vocals. I don't know if you picked up the singer was actually walking through the crowd at the beginning, and he sort of like his face was sort of like obscured bit in shadow type of thing, and he's sort of like trying to sort of like it's. I don't know if it was like by design he was trying to be a sort of like a spectre type of thing, like avenging angel type of thing. Well, obviously, but with the name and everything, being sort of like one of those types of avenging angel type of thing to avenge to sort of like you know what, I'm going to be like, if I'm going to, we've lost a lot of people here. I'm going to avenge the fallen, type of thing. And he was sort of like half obscured by the in shadow type of thing. And it was like,
Yeah,
I
I
like that
didn't
he
catch
was
that.
looking in. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't catch that because I was like honing in on the music this time, so I
yeah,
was a little
yeah,
bit more. Yeah, I had my eyes closed and I was listening to the music. But
yeah,
I kind of got swept away with the music.
yeah. Yeah, I watched it a couple of about 3 or 4 times, and first time I heard it, I sort of like did that. I wasn't looking at the video, if you know what I mean. I wasn't really looking at it. But when I sort of like the second and third time round, I was sort of like picking up on stuff in the video. So like the getting the crowd to actually there and holding up the signs up, and also there was another one, another shot. There was somebody holding up a hammer. If you look, if you take a look, it's sort of like from the camera angle from the stage into the crowd. It's just like looked like a Mjolnir, Thor's hammer in the crowd. But if you look at the back of at the camera, going from like the back of the crowd, looking towards the band, the hammer actually lights up.
Cool.
So I was like
I
thinking,
missed that too. I didn't see it lighting up. I saw that.
yeah. So
I'll be watching it again.
yeah, it's I didn't quite catch all of it. I didn't quite catch all the things, but those are the ones I've sort of like I picked up on. So it's it's the music was good, and the band was good, and the crowd was absolutely brilliant and good sports of actually being there and actually getting involved type of thing. And it's like the music video was like absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it's a good song, that good song. So yeah, so Lisa, what's your rating?
This is kind of hard because I gave them a 9.5, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna give them a 10. I love them so much. Solid
yeah,
9.5 though. Solid 9.5.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'd give him a 9. I'd give him a solid 9. So yeah, I'm no doubt I'll probably get if I listen to the song again, I will sort of like probably give it a 9.5. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're a really good band, Hammerfall. I've sort of like been following them since the 90s, I believe, since the 90s. When
Yeah.
I first really started to get into them. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the next band, a band called Cypher, at Cypher, and their song, "Your Marcus Clone." So Lisa, take it away.
Well, this one kind of confused me, Al. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lie. I love the song. Don't get me wrong. I love the song. They're from United Arab Emirates, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Um, this song confused me. I really love this song. The video was super cool with with the space visuals. Interesting lyrics. Like almost like wormhole death. I was getting that vibe, right? It
yeah,
started with the hard, deep vocals and the blast beat, right? The blast beat drums, and then cleaner vocals came in with the guitars and the drums. I really like the transitions between the lighter and the heavier parts, um, as well as I like the like the transitions between the clean and the rough vocals too. Interesting use of the keyboard and synth on this. It's a really interesting, unique progressive metal sound on this. I liked it. It's different. The vocals are good. The guitars are good. The drums are good. The keyboard and the synth is good. The orchestration and the arrangements are good. But I don't know what it was about this band. I don't know. I was trying to figure out some of the lyrics. I need your take on it, because I was like trying to figure out what, because it said the Markers clone. That's the name of the song. But then it said, what did it say now? A Markers. Oh, I was going to write it down too, because part of the song it said something else. And a mark is like, isn't it like a debt? Isn't I'm thinking of this too literal, maybe.
Yeah. If you sort of like know sort of like a Halo or some sort of like a computer game such as a Halo, or like a bit like do you know Stargate, the TV series?
Yeah.
In the later seasons, there's a good pretty much a full season of the replicators. They're sort of like the mechanical spiders type of thing. It's sort of like the mark of a clone, sort of like so. Say for instance, like the T-1000 in Terminator, or the T-800 or the T-1000. There's always going to be a mark of who actually made it, or it's a clone of a clone of a clone type of thing.
Okay.
And it's sort of like there's always going to be a tool mark or whatever it is you want on. But that's just my take on it. That's just my take on it.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking too literal, maybe.
Yeah.
You know how, like, okay, well, I was trying to think, okay, well, a mark is like a debt. I was trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah. Because if you take a look at the actual video, it's sort of like it's out in the cosmos, out in space, and it's sort of part of the video is actually sort of like something's being built in outer space, and they're going to need sort of like a bit like the replicator from Stargate to actually go out, or a droid from Star Wars to go out and do like repairs or build something in outer space type of thing.
There was that spacecraft that went from one place into this machine, and then it was taking the energy, and then it flew off through like a rift in space to like the wormhole, where it blasted the wormhole, and then all of a sudden it was like the wormhole died, the death of the wormhole.
It's sort of like different people will take different ideas from sort of like, you know, like no two people will take the same idea or come up with the same thing, if you know what I mean. As the saying goes, art is subjective, if you know what I mean. Each person would take something different away from it.
Yeah. So, super cool song, don't get me wrong. Like the music itself was super cool, very unique, very different, which I love. right? I found that, but I was just trying to trying to figure it out, right? Like, how does it fit with the song? Like, the lyrics. Sometimes I get too in my head where I'm trying to figure something out. So I'm like, tell me what you think.
I see where you're coming from. I'm in some ways I'm the same in that aspect. I sure you trying to figure out something you just I think, but it's just after a while for me anyway. I just I think just enjoy it. Just enjoy the what you're seeing or what you're listening to. Just enjoy it. Don't put too much into it.
I know. I'm trying to figure this out. There's got to be some hidden meaning.
Yeah. Sometimes I've been trying to tell people. Sometimes you just need to sort of like switch your brain off and just enjoy what you're seeing or enjoying what you're listening to.
Yeah. That's just it, right? Like, and I know that it's like and after a while it was like, okay, I'm just gonna write this review musically.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure it out. But
for my it's just basically pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same with what you just said. Love the aggression of the band at the beginning with like sort of like transitions over to sort of like the slower part. But the aggression's still there. The vocals with like the goes from like the clean to the growl. I really like that. Drums and the bass are brilliant. Brilliant. Guitars are really good and aggressive. So it's I love the transitions between sort of like love the transitions of the band. So so Lisa, what's your rating?
I gave them a solid 8. The more I hear of them, they have such a unique, interesting, different sound to them. I really like it. I really like it. It's different. It's fresh. I want to hear more. I want to hear more from them, and then it'll probably rise. But a solid 8 for me.
Yeah, pretty much the same with me. But I'm sort of like starting to go towards the 8.5 because I've listened to the song a good few times, and I was like, I wasn't at first like you, I wasn't sure which direction we were going, but after I listened to it 3 or 4 times, I was like, yeah, it's definitely it. But after the 4th listen to, I was like sort of like going down to the 8.5 and 8.5. So
I listened to it like 4 or 5 times, and I wasn't looking at it the right way. I don't think. Like I said, I was too in my head, and I was trying to figure it out. Instead of just looking at it musically and going from that, but I was trying to figure out what the meaning was of the video to fit the lyrics and everything together. So I just one of those
things. It is one of those songs where you just like you want to know what the story is behind the song, but sometimes you just got to turn your brain off. Just enjoy what you're listening to. So but anyway, move on to the next song, which is one of your choices. Going into Lisaboo's choices now. Black Lyrics and the song Burn. Now, so because these are Lisaboo's choices, I'm going to start off. For me, Cool start with the quiet guitars. Then it sort of like comes in, and then bam, the band kicks in fully. The drums and the bass are amazing. They sort of like got sort of like a heavy vibe to them, really heavy vibe to them. Which gives a proper full-on rich sound to the overall picture of what they musically anyway. Guitars are great and heavy as well, in keeping with the drums and the bass. Bass and drums, I should say. The vocals are really cool, very emotive and expressive within the with singing the lyrics. And yeah, talking about sort of like getting the feeling of being sort of like burnt or burning, sort of sensation type of thing. Going, sort of like, this is sort of like another song. It's just like thinking, don't put too much into it, if you know what I mean. Just don't try and get inside the writer's head, sort of thing. So yeah. So Lisa, what's your sort of like take on it?
Well, they are a UK band, so they're from South Wales. So I always try and represent UK for you. I really loved the. It was almost like a detuned rough guitar sound at the beginning. I like that a lot. I like that. That was a little different. Drums and the guitars with the vocals come in, and some really cool riffs and licks on this song. Some cool distortion sounds on this. I don't know if you picked those out. Those are pretty cool. Transitions are great on this. I love the heavier and the lighter section. Great solos on this. The vocals really fit the song really well. Lead vocals and the backup vocals. Love the lower growly vocals in the background. That was cool. Great rhythm section. Drums and the bass are excellent. Oh, I love the bass breakthrough in sections. I don't know if you caught that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's one of the reasons I picked it, because I love bass. I love the bass guitar so much. Lyrics are deep and talk of demons in life. In my getting heavy, thinking things through too much. Lost all control. What is it? Falling to pieces, consumed by my demons. Lost all control. The lyrics. Very cool video visually. A lot of flashing color and shows the side of addictions. So kind of a darker video, I thought. So yeah, super cool song. I love the different, like the distortion and the cool distortion sounds in it. So yeah, I like it when it's something unique in it. So yeah, cool song.
Yeah. So my sort of like rating is, I started out as thinking 8, a solid 8, but after listening to a couple of times, I sort of like really liked the rhythm section, like bass and drums. So I was sort of like starting to lean towards the 8.5. So yeah, I would love to see a little bit more from them to see where they're going, in the direction whereabouts are they going. Are they going down to sort of like the sort of like the detuned sort of like heaviness of the guitars, or whatever, you know what I mean? It's that type of thing. Or they're going to go like switch and go down sort of like the lighter side of things, or down to the heavier side, even heavier side of things with detuned guitars. So yeah, I would say for this song, it's definitely between an 8 and an 8.5. But so yeah, so yeah, what's your rating?
I gave them a 9 because I really love this band. I love I love I love the rhythm section in this. The bass
Yeah.
got it for me. It did it. So yeah, it's a 9 for me. Yeah.
Cool. Now, the next band, I really like this band. Before we start off, the band is called Red Tiger with their song "Die Another Day." Now, yeah, for me, it's a full-on catchy tune, but it's got like sort of like a dark meaning to it, if you know what I mean. It's got obviously with the title "Die Another Day," it sort of like deals with a lot of sort of like experimentation, shall we say. So yeah, and it shows in the video where with yeah. I'm not going to say too much. If you want, it's sort of like would you put on like sort of like mature content type of thing with certain imagery of in the video?
Maybe because of like the hospital kind of ER setting.
Yeah.
I would have said more of that in the previous one. I would have said that more for the previous one.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like with the previous one with Black Lakes. Yeah, I would have said that as well, especially at the beginning of the video with the lighting of a certain type of liquid.
Yeah.
And pouring a certain liquid over somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say both. I was both. Yeah, but anyways, getting back to Red Tiger. Love the intro to this with the ticking of the clock, and then the sort of like every substance sort of like comes in with like a single with the drums type of thing. Yeah, I love that. Love that intro. Cool riffs, solos from the guitars. The drums and the bass are absolutely brilliant. It work really well together. Both drums and the bass really drives the song along. Really drives the song. Vocals are super cool. Oh, the singer he sort of like makes the combine that with like the singer's vocals, sort of like that with like the bass and drums, sort of like make the song really catchy. It really gets into your head. Really hooks you in. So yeah, it's oh, you got to listen to this song. You literally got to listen to this song to understand what I'm getting at with like how catchy it is, how catchy it is. So yeah, like I said, it's sort of like experimenting on and being experimenting on somebody who and bringing them back to life type of thing. So yeah. So Lisa, what's your take?
Well, it's from the album Die Another Day that's coming out, I believe, on October 12th. of this year. So so yeah, it's from that same album name, Die Another
Yeah.
Day. So like I said before we started here, they're originally from Puerto Rico. So that's why it had that kind of a Latin kind of a flair to them. And now they're from Houston, Texas. So yeah, that start with the sounds and sights of the ER, but with the clock ticking, that's super cool. And then the band came in, of course. Cool guitar on this. Drums are very strong. Great rhythm section with the bass. The vocals have a cool Latin feel. The melodies are great on this with the backup vocals as well. Like they all have the backup vocals. Excellent guitar solo. I think there was more than one guitar solo on this actually. Fast-paced melody with it. I thought it was inspirational lyrics of not giving up. Feel it deep inside your heart. You know it is not over. We've only just begun. The time has come to rise up again. I thought it was kind of inspirational.
Yeah.
So yeah, super cool guitar riffs, guitar solo at the end. Oh my God, guitar solo at the end was super cool. And then it ended the same as it began with the ER scene, but the guy's sitting up and his friends are around him. So yeah, and they're standing around like, well, kind of like, oh, you're finally awake.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool song, cool band. Go check them out. So yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's like I give at first I give it an 8.5, but after a couple of listens, I was like, I really like this band. I really do. I saw because of how catchy the song is, how it sort of like hooks you in to actually sit down and actually listen and actually listening to actually what they've got to say about the song, really. But then after the third or fourth time, I was like leaning towards a 9. Really leaning towards the 9 on this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I gave it a solid 8.5, but it's kind of leaning. But yeah, solid 8.5 for me. I want to hear more. This is a new band for me too. So yeah, I want to hear. It's kind of like I want to hear more.
No, of course, yeah. So going on to the next band, a band called Jinjer. That's Jinjer, and the song "Someone's Daughter." So yeah, straight off the bat, I wasn't too sure about this song at first because of the weird time signature, the way that it sort of like reminded me of sort of like experimental jazz, sort of in a way. Especially with like the guitars and the drums, where they structured, where they sort of like structured the thing. I was like, I couldn't get past that bit when I first heard it. But after a couple of more listens, I was like, started growing me, really started to grow on me. When I listened to it, I was like, the bass and drums sort of like brutal, if you know what I mean. They're sort of like the guitars are sort of like good and heavy. Yeah, I was just like when they switched about halfway through, they switched off from like sort of like a jazzy type of time signature over to sort of like more of a rock metal signature, time signature. I was like, that was pretty cool. I was like, you know what I mean? It's like the solos and the on the guitars was really, really, really good. Now, I can't. Did hear the name of the singer, but I can't remember her name. Love her clean and growled vocals on the track.
Yeah.
Now, and really liked it. Now, from from when I was watching the video, she plays three parts. You got Cleopatra. I believe it's Marie Curie, I think, and some art. I can't remember the artist's name. But those are the three sort of like three historical figures type of thing, and they're all sitting on sort of like a bit like Game of Thrones throne with the sword throne.
Yeah.
In the Game of Thrones, I was like, this the story, the basically from what I can gather, it's going through like all these women are somebody's daughter, and you're thinking, oh, Cleopatra, she was this big pharaoh of the last major pharaoh of Egypt before it collapsed. But in the I think it was this last years of Egypt when the pharaohs were still around. Then you got Marie Curie, who I think it's Marie Curie, who actually was discovered X-rays and stuff like that. It's saying all these big, powerful women or big, well-known women, sort of like somebody's daughter, if you know what I mean. It's like the title says, it's someone's daughter. So you think, it's really cool song, really, really cool song. So yeah. So Lisa, what's your take?
This band is from Ukraine. I don't know if you knew that or not, but they've been around for a while. But I love them. I love them. I haven't listened to them for a while, so it was like it was nice going back and seeing the progression of them, right? So yeah, they have really progressed from when I last heard them. So such strong guitars, drums, and vocals on this by both the female and the male singers. Love the contrast between the two. The lyrics are really cool, and the music is really well orchestrated to the song lyrics. And I know exactly what you mean when you were saying about the strong women in history, basically, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Joan of Arc, or like maybe even Mara from Feist.
Yeah.
Like when she was wearing the armor and she was basically, you teach me to be a man, though I am someone's daughter, because she had to learn something other than what she knew, right? The path of the warrior was set for me, and I had to try on the armor. Very, very deep lyrics. Great guitar solo and bass on this, and the bass can be really heard up front, which I really like on this. I love the bass line, and I love the bass solo with the male vocal. I don't know if you caught that. Yeah, that was really cool. The drums were really strong on this. Love the contrast between the hard and the slightly lighter parts. And this song really ramps up near the end. So yeah, excellent song. I really love this band. So.
Yeah. yeah, yeah. It's for me. It's sort of like for me. It's a solid 8. It's solid 8. It would have been a little bit higher, but it was what's sort of like I know it's sort of like a nitpick. It's sort of like the weird time signature, the way that they timed it out. That's sort of like it was sort of like I know it's a minor thing, but yeah, it's for me it's about an 8 for me.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Music can be subjective, and you sometimes you like something, sometimes it's not for you, right? I
Yeah,
I I love this band, so I give them a 9.5. But
yeah,
I found it very interesting and different on my part. I
yeah,
like that different that kind of switching it up and kind of going against the grain kind of thing and having
yeah,
something a little bit different. So I really liked it. So, but that's
yeah,
fine. Like we say, everybody
yeah.
to
Oh
each
yeah,
his own.
don't get us wrong. I do like Ginger, but it was just that for this song, someone's daughter. It was just that weird time signature, the way
Yeah,
that she that just caught me off guard, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like we said, it's all subjective. So yeah,
yeah. All cool.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, moving on to the last band of this week, and that is Freeze the Fall. Now we've reviewed this band before in the past. I can't remember when. I think it was about what, about 4, 5 weeks ago, something like that.
I can't remember all.
I can't. We've
It's been
covered that many bands.
it's been a little while. I could go back
Yeah,
and look, but yeah.
it's been a while, but yeah, the song is called "One Left Standing." So yeah. Anyway, right. Cool intro for me. Cool intro with singer and a guitar. Soft to start with. Bass comes in with more, which is sort of like with only being a 3 piece. It's sort of like the bass is more to the fore to than usual. Because sometimes sometimes when you hear a band, the bass is way back there. But some bands you sort of like they bring the bass a bit more forward. But in this song, it's in this band, it's sort of like everything's got a equal footing on each one with of the three instruments, which is really cool. Drums are pretty solid and steady on this, and like I said, the bass and the drums work really well with this. Works really well with the song. Um, yeah, the guitar is solid and got some really cool riffs on, really cool riffs and solos there. Um, Vocals are good, which I like, because of being emotional and expressive. If you know what I mean, especially with like sort of like emo, uh, the subject matter being one left, only one left standing. If you know what I mean, it's you know what I mean. It's the singer's got. You did mention that who was the singer? I can't remember. Yeah, who was the singer? Is she 15 or 17? I can't.
She's Quinn is 17, and Arya and Jonah are 15.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I really liked. I really liked the song. Really, really liked the song. Well constructed, well performed, well written, and everything. It's a really cool song. So, Lisa, what's your take?
I look back in my notes and it's June 15th when
Yeah.
we last had them on.
Oh, cool.
So
That's
about
about
just about
7, 8 weeks.
just about 2 months. We were 5 days
Yeah.
shy of 2 months. So um yeah, they're from Kelowna, BC, and this is from their debut EP, Thrones. So yeah, I'm so happy
Yeah.
for them. If you haven't noticed,
Mm.
and then good for you, kids. So yeah, Quinn is 17. She's on vocals. Guitar, Aria, 15. She's on bass and backup vocals. And Jonah is on drums. He's 15. And this young band has been blowing my mind. I'm so proud of them. You'd think they were my kids. Such wonderful young musicians. This song, One Left Standing, starts slow, but it really picks up speed, which was kind of cool. I like the transitions from the faster to the slower. Vocals are great, guitars are good, drums with the bass coming through in sections is great, which I love. Um, very, very deep vocals. As we fall apart, I can't seem to break my fall. The ending is different with them stopping, and then there was like synth sounds, like from what that was kind of a different end for them. So yeah, super cool, but young band. Go check them out. Yeah, they're they're coming. I can see the progression in their music. So yeah, debut album, Thrones. I'm gonna do the PR now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the super cool band.
Yeah. 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 They are a cool band. Yeah, I'm starting. Starting to like. Starting to like the band. I believe I believe I gave them an 8.5 last time. I believe. I can't remember. We've reviewed that many bands. It's sometimes I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago, let alone what we did 2 months ago. So I think um, I give him like another 8.5, but I'm sort of like leaning towards the 9. Really starting to lean towards the 9. The 9 mark on the scale. So what's your mark there, Lisa?
I gave them a 9, and I just looked back and I gave them a 9 last time too.
Yeah.
So that is darn good for a young band. Like they're just, oh my goodness. I like I said, you think they were my kids because I'm just like rah,
Yeah.
rah, rah. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, really good. Feist the Fall is a really good band. I'm starting to like them a little bit more. So yeah. Guys, if you want to watch the videos to all the bands that we reviewed today, just go down into in the description, and all the links are there. And yeah, just let us know if you like the bands. If you don't like the bands, don't worry. We sort of like we know some bands we like, some bands we sort of like. Some bands we just say nope, not for me. Don't worry, don't worry. We know. Yeah. So yeah, and again, hey up Replay Crew, let us know what you think of the bands in the description, in the comment section. So yeah, and and if you're new here, hit the like, subscribe, share, and comment. It does help the channel out. And don't forget, make sure you check out Lisaboo's Etsy store over. It's in the pinned comment in the description, and it's also in the description as well. So yeah. Right. I need, for some reason, I've been sucking down a lot of water today, and I need to go to the boys' room. So, if you've got any more gigs coming up, let us know. But also do a little bit of Griffin while I go to the boys' room.
All right. All right. All right, guys. Here we go again with the gigs. I think I'm gonna do Jinjer's again, seeing as we, yeah, they're Jinjer. They're October 11th. It's a Friday. Las Vegas, Nevada, at the House of Blues Restaurant and Bar. And we have Disposable Heroes and guest at Midway Music Hall in Edmonton on October 24th. September 12th is Extreme Living Color at the River Cree Resort and Casino at Enoch, Alberta. September 21st is Testament and Creator at the River Cree Resort and Casino, Enoch, Alberta. October 19th is Misery Signals at the Union Hall in Edmonton, Alberta. October 20th is Evanescence and Hailstorm at Rogers Place, Edmonton, Alberta. Bachman Turner Overdrive, one of my favorites. An oldie but a goodie. Rogers Place, Edmonton, Alberta on November 29th. And Mother Mother is playing on February 22nd of this coming year at Rogers Place in Edmonton. So yeah, guys, if you haven't already, please like and share and subscribe and hit that notification bell to all so you don't miss any content of upcoming interviews and podcasts. And if you guys haven't checked out the Monday night podcast with Ell and Basjan, it's phenomenal. Basjan always brings some really cool bands and gigs. So yeah, on Monday, come back and check out the Monday night podcast. And if you haven't already checked out my Etsy store, it's Budabel X Studio on Etsy. I have a lot of crystals, stones, rocks, raws, polished stones, bracelets, pendants, which I do. Lots of different stones, lots of different towers and spheres, and some goth stuff. I have some new stuff coming. Some bags and stuff I brought in with the goth feel, with kind of a Ouija board feel to them with the eye and the Ouija board symbols. So those are really cool. That's coming. If you're into that kind of stuff, the goth feel. So yeah, I have some of that stuff coming. So yeah, go check it out. And you're back.
I'm back. Oh, that feels a lot better.
Yes.
That's
so I
it.
don't know if how you're feeling, if you're getting tired, because I see it's already almost 4:15.
Yeah, I am. Well, been busy all day doing stuff. So yeah, but going for about another 15 minutes before we start wrapping things up.
Okay.
So Lisa. Right. What going to sort of like your sort of like journey into the wonderful world of Feist. So you've been reading the first book of the Supermore saga. So you're on the Merchant Prince now. So
I finished it.
Yeah. So before you get on the Merchant Prince, so what's your take on the Shadow of the Dark Queen?
It was
Yeah.
basically kind of getting back into Eric's journey, Eric and Rue, their journey, right? And then this one is more about Rue, but it also has Eric in it. And I did finish this one too, so I'm on to the third one already. I finished this one on the 8th, and I'll show you I can take the thing off so you can see it all. This is the next one. Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah. Oh, good, yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh,
yeah. That's amazing. I love the artwork. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I started this one on the 8th. Yeah, I started this one late on the 8th because I finished this one up late on the 8th, and then I started this one. So I'm in chapter 4 of this one.
Cool.
Rage of the Demon King.
Yeah.
So I'm not going in. I'm going through them, but I'm trying to take my time with them as well. So.
Yeah. So, now, as you finished the first book, the first one of the Silver War Saga, what was your sort of like impressions in general of the whole book?
It was, how am I going to put this? Basically, it's Eric's journey, but it brings in some of the other characters that we know. We know and love, like Nakor. Nakor. He's just such a cool character. I love him. It's just an interesting character, right? How am I going to put it? Basically, it's because it is book 1, the Serpent War Saga. That basically tells you what it kind of is about with the serpent. That basically the Pantathian priests and whatnot, the Serpent War, right? So it kind of gives it away in that respect.
Which they were introduced in the Darkness of Sethanon, because there was a Pantheon serpent priest in there. So there's sort of like a character came that Feist introduced into the Silver Wars, brought back that character, that sort of like race, shall we say, back into the Silver War Saga.
Yeah.
So, and so I won't ask you. I won't ask you to give like reveal too many details. What did you make, without giving too much details away? What did you make of Nico's revelation in the end of book 1?
Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't want to give it away. It's hard to. It's very.
Well, you actually, I was going to say he gives sort of like 2 sort of like revelations. Yeah. So like I said, don't give too much away. There's 2 revelations there.
Yeah. He always can. He's got this way about him where he can go under the radar and find things out without even people realizing that he's there. it's almost like a ghost for how he goes in different
Yeah.
situations, and he's just this little
Kooky
yeah.
little.
For some reason, I keep thinking of Dopey from the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
I just keep
That's-
having this picture in my mind of him being like Dopey from the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
He's anything but Dopey, but
Yeah.
he's got that smile on his face always, and this mischievousness, and he just can fly through all people's radars and get information and figure things out, and
Yeah.
he's just this fascinating little character, and how he can just find stuff out is just beyond me. But he's such he's such a cool little character, and
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I don't know why I keep thinking of like Dopey, because he's anything but it, but just that, like, when he's
Yeah.
that smile on his face, and people
Yeah.
make,
It's
yeah.
yeah. He's one of those characters where how can we take him? Yeah, you got to take him seriously. You got to. You thinking he's one of these types of characters. You just, I think, 1 minute he's sort of like, is he just like a comedic character? Yes, he is, but he's also, you also got to think he's also a dangerous character as well. You know what I mean? He flicks between the two very seamlessly. 1 minute he's just like pulling oranges out of his bag, and he goes up to his shoulder, pulling his oranges out. He says, "Oh, how do you do that? Oh, how do you do that?"
Yeah.
And he's like, next minute he's just like thinking, "Oh, there's something dangerous about this guy," which I'm trying not to give too much away, but this guy's dangerous.
One of his favorite sayings is, "There's no such thing as magic."
Yeah, I just know a few tricks.
He has tricks. He's the trickster. Yeah. He's like Loki in a way. He just, like just that, like, oh, he has tricks. But tricks are for kids.
Yeah. No, of course, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of like, yeah, he's sort of like, I'm trying not to give too much away, but he's 1 minute he's sort of like a goofball. Next minute he's just like, he could flick the switches, literally just flick the switch, and he's like thinking, I don't want to be anywhere near you, there, pal. I'm gone, type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I know exactly what you mean, because I'm not going to say what happened, but it was in the last book with
Nicholas.
The riverfront, the warehouse district. You know exactly that scene. you would not want to be, because all of a sudden he'll have this idea, right? And it's like, oh boy. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I have a trick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know exactly.
Yeah. 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 He's, like I said, 1 minute he could have a laugh and sort of like have a laugh with him, all fun and all this, and then the next minute, within a couple of nanoseconds, he's just like thinking, "Oh God, I'm getting as far away from this guy as possible." If you know what I mean.
Yeah. And when he says to go, You go. You don't stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of? Oh God, I can't remember the guy's name. The sergeant. What do you think of him?
Longbow?
Yeah.
Which one? The one that
The
there was Foster, and then there was
the Foster was the
there was
corporal.
Bobby. There was Bobby Longbow.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby.
And
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to give anything away though.
Yeah. Just in general.
I love his character. I love how he brings what he needs out of the character out of Eric and Rue. He brought so much. He taught them basically what they needed to survive. He brought that out of them. They would think, "Oh, I can't," like they'd be saying, "No, you don't be saying that. You're gonna do it," kind of thing, right? You're gonna.
Yeah.
You need to do it. You brought the best out of them in a bad situation. Let's say that.
Yeah.
You brought the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's too much to go over, and if you do go too much into it, you sort of like we sort of like go into the spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So. Eh?
And I just tried to generalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So, going on to the next, the Merchant Prince. What did you reckon to that?
I'm kind of upset with Rue.
Yes.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm very disenchanted with Rue. Rupert Avery. What are you doing, Rupert? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know exactly.
Yes, I do. All I wanted to do is just slap him upside the head and he says, "What the hell? Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?"
And he did not want to tell Eric for that very reason.
Yeah.
Eric was more of because he would have been like, "What are you doing? Why?" Like, Rupert.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If Eric knew,
yeah.
If Eric knew, he would literally slap him. He would slap him so hard. Well, put it this way, he would have dragged him all over the place. He literally would have dragged him all over the place.
I wanted to go in that book. I wanted to
Yeah.
reach in.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just like, "Bro, what the hell are you doing?"
And you know exactly.
Naughty boy. Yeah, naughty boy. Naughty.
Not even naughty, just naughty, but
yeah. Naughty boy. Yeah, well, I know exactly what you're on about there. He's just like, oh God, he just wanted to go in, grab hold of him, and literally kick him real hard in a certain in a certain anatomy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. What did you think of James? Jimmy the Hand.
Oh my God. I've loved Jimmy, aka Lord James, from get go. Even when he was himself with the way he was. Not gonna give it away. To where he is now. And those, oh my goodness. And basically his grandson, his grandson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they're an apple of his eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
What did you think of shall we say a certain character which may or may not be his half brother? Which we already met.
Yeah. I that kind of flabbergasted me. Basically, it kind of blew me away. The Sebaceous man.
Yeah.
It's not giving anything away because people, you got to read the book to know what I'm talking about.
Oh yes.
For yeah, and it all came down to him having to step in and because of what happened at the beginning of near the beginning of this book of the rise of the Merchant Prince.
Yeah.
Little ways into it. I can't remember now. I'm all I'm trying to keep the book separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of I knew he was a conniving kind of a character, but I didn't think that it would be to that. I knew that James is very smart, so so if he is the half brother, then that would make sense of how he could come to that level. So yeah.
Yeah. So what did you?
I'm sorry, noisy motorcycle.
So right, like I said before, with like the shadow with the first book. So generally, what did you think of Rise of the Merchant Prince?
It sure takes you on a journey where it kind of weaves in and out between Rue and Eric and Callus and that whole thing. So it's weaving through this story, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very
Yeah.
just how it's kind of weaving through all the different characters and how the Serpent War is progressing and how each character is going to be their path through it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you just started the Rage of the Demon King. What did you think of the first 4 chapters?
As in this, was it this one or the one before? I think it was the one before. Because you know how in the first book, well, I guess in every book, there's like a prologue, right? And it kind of gives you an idea of kind of what's happening on part of the front. That's very interesting to me. The prologue are kind of filling in some of the kind of the missing pieces. That's very interesting to me because reading that part on this one, you kind of get to see because because I don't want to spoil it. How can I put it? Very interesting. It gives you a lot of information that about maybe a third party that's going to be part of the Serpent War.
Yeah. I won't give it away. I won't give too much. I won't give it away because it will be like a major plot point later on.
Yeah.
But there is a third party.
Oh yeah.
There, actually, there's about a third and a fourth party.
Yeah, but that's interesting though to see that the first part, like the prologues, right? How it kind of and in The Rise of a Merchant Prince, when Callus and them went back to Navindus, how that kind of came about, right? I'm not going to give anything away because we want you guys to please go and read these books because Feist is an absolutely amazing writer. That's part of why we're doing this, to kind of open the world up for people that are maybe thinking that they want to start to read. If you're into fantasy books, if you're into Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, you will love Feist. So.
Oh yeah. If you it's like up there when myself and Bashing were starting to talk about what books we were reading, going to talking about Feist beginning of the year, I believe, and going talking, and the way I described it was, think of Lord of the Rings. When I described Feist, it was think of Lord of the Rings, but times. I think I said times 10, so to speak. It's where you just where Feist takes the ideas of sort of like Feist, with Tolkien, and then he just ramps it up. He just literally ramps it up in a big way.
There's this fly that keeps going across.
Yeah.
It went on the camera. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. I have to go killing a fly here, so
Yeah. So like I said, it's like Feist is sort of.
I know Marcella, right?
Yeah.
He's like, honey. Like I say, I keep saying that basically Feist is so descriptive, so it literally doesn't matter how big the main character is, or even down to the lowliest minor character. You just he drags you in, and see he actually sort of like gonna go across again. Oh, he moved down. He was gonna go. Oh my god. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that reminds me, Marcella. I saw an EMF reader today. I just about got it.
Yeah.
Because Lisa Grayson always talking about an EMF. Oh my god, he's gonna walk across it again. He's gonna do it. Here he goes. There he
goes. Oh god, nature, do you just love it?
Oh, he got his Oh no. probably did.
Yeah.
Oh, his fly was down.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a boy. It's a boy. Oh, Frank the fly. Frank, you gotta leave. You gotta go outside, Frank. Oh, he's gonna come see you again, Marcella.
He's moving at you, Marcella.
He's going wiki wiki. Oh my god.
Yeah. He probably did there, Marcella. He probably does.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
He's taking over.
Yeah.
He was doing something to my keyboard. Frank, you gotta leave, Frank. People are going, what? Who's Frank?
Frank the fly.
Here he comes. He's gonna try again. He likes you, Marcella. He's going. Frank, you gotta move, Frank. You gotta move, Frank.
Oh God.
Yeah. He's doing something. He was doing something to my keyboard.
I'm
gonna have to clean my keyboard after this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what. I don't want to know what he's been doing.
Oh, Frank.
Dare I ask?
Oh, Frank. Frank, don't do that. And I think there's there must be like a Francine or something, or someone, his girlfriend or something is coming.
Oh gosh.
Frank, come on now.
Yeah.
It's going off the rails. It's going off the rails now.
Anyway, Lisaboo. So up to now, what's your thoughts about Feist up to now, with all the books that you've read?
Oh, he keeps me guessing. He such an amazing writer. And even though I think I can see where he's going, he always manages to just diverge into the wood.
Oh yeah.
Just diverge off into another path.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such an amazing writer. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Like I keep saying, you might have like this. Basically, this. He might be writing one thing. He might send you down one path, and he sort of like he says, we're not going that way. We're going over it. We're basically going over this way. You know what I mean? It's like it's a classic case of misdirection. It's he knows how to sort of like he knows where to go, if you know what I mean. He knows where to go, and he's sort of like say, look over here, but actually what he's actually doing is you know what I mean. It's just like classic case of misdirection. Classic case.
Yeah. Did you see Marcella's comment?
Yeah.
Frank
Yeah.
Zappa. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
He's got to go outside though. Frank, you got to go outside.
Yeah. 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 So anyway, guys, we're going to be starting to wrap things up as it's 11:45 here in the UK. And we've been going for just over for nearly 3 hours. And so a big thank you to Jim of Rat Silo for joining us today. It's brilliant time. So yeah. So Isabel, what's your thoughts on Jim from Rat Silo? And yeah.
Brilliant interview. Jim was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, we're gonna check out some of those songs so we can maybe do a review of Rat Silo.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was Marcella's input there. So yeah, we're gonna probably do a few songs from them.
Yeah, oh good, yeah. And Marcella, get your brother back on again. I would love to have him back on. We'd love to have Eric back on. To see what he's been up to.
Yeah, guys, go check out the interview that Ell did with Eric Allen. Yeah, he's a brilliant musician, singer, guitarist. So yeah.
He's I would love to get him back on again. So yeah. I would, yeah, Marcella. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyways, guys, and so if you do go to a party, go to a live gig, or go to a thing, by all means have a good time, have a drink, but don't drink and drive. It's a full-on dick move. It's a full-on. Oh, sweet.
Yay.
Sweet, Marcella. And send us over. Excuse me. Send us over the details, and I'll arrange something. So yeah, send us over the details, and we can sort something out.
And thank you, Marcella. Thank you, Marcella, for coming.
Yeah. Major thank you, Marcella. Major thank you. And thank you for setting this interview up with Diamond Tattler. So yeah, just send us over the details and we'll sort something out. And anyway, Lisaboo, your final thoughts.
Lots of love and hugs to Marcella. Love you. Thanks for coming. Another thank you to Jim for coming on. And if you have a band or a song that you want us to check out, put it in the description, and we'll check them out. And so yeah, love you guys, and take care. Have a good weekend. The rest of the weekend, anyway.
So yeah, same here. Thank you everybody for coming in and subscribing and liking and sharing. So yeah, and the replay crew, love you guys. Major props. Getting this far in. So right, yeah. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you all later.